I sat and I thought, and I sat and I thought, and I just laid back and said, what is this all about? And he said, remember when I told you about, in order for you to understand where you are and what it is I've called you to do, you have to first discern the voices. You have to secondly declare the value of the voices. He said there are some voices that many of you all have put too much value on. There's some opinions that you just got too much stock in it. You have to go back and reassess the value that you have placed on certain voices, the agreement that you have made with certain voices, because there is no manifestation unless there is an agreement. And so many things can be said, but few things can be made manifest except there is an agreement. We think that the Bible talks about individuals, but I brought that thing on in. I pulled that thing real close when he said, how can two walk together except they agree? I just applied that to everything. I just started applying it to everything. How can what I believe and what God believes, how can those two voices become conjoined and walk together? How can I walk this vision out if I don't agree? If I am in agreement with another voice, then I have just set my life in confusion. Wow, God. Wow, God. So I begin to really think about the power, the force behind a voice. The force behind a voice. And how much do we really believe in what God has really said? The next episode that came up, I'm connecting the dots now. Now it's all starting to make sense to me, so I'm connecting the dots. So the next episode came up, and it said the captain met up with a ship that was outside of the big window of the ship. And he was struck by something and fell out. And it took him to a land where he woke up and he had regular clothes on. And he had a wife. And he was saying, where am I? And she was saying, you know, I'm your wife and I'm here in the whole 9 yards. And he was like, well, where is my ship? And what planet is this? And he was very, very adamant about it. Over a period of time, he ended up having a child. The child ended up having a son. She got married. I want you to hear this. The wife ended up dying, and he's over this wife dying. The captain is no longer bald head. He's grown out all of his hair, and he's looking old and about to die. And one of his closest friends on the little planet there dies, but something inside of the captain still refused to accept that this was all that existed, because I know I came from somewhere. And everybody he tried to ask, they would just make him think he was crazy. You know, no, we're here. You know, this is what happens. We've been here 1,000 years. And something in him. And finally one day they said, there's a missile that's getting ready to be launched so that another planet or another people can find us. We have to leave a mark in the air to let them know that there is a living existence on this planet. And so the daughter said, come outside because I want you to see this. And so the father said, well, I'll come outside. And when he got outside, sat down, The daughter said, I want you to see what you've already seen before. And he turns around and looked at her. He looks up, and the wife is no longer dead, but she's back. The best friend is no longer dead, but he's back. And they said to him, what you believed was always there. Everything that you believed and saw, it was always there. But you had to come and live among us so that your belief could be challenged to a point that you can be wholeheartedly convinced that what you know, you really know. And they said, now, the ship is coming for you. But don't forget to tell them that there's a real existence out here because you've had an experience. Is anybody listening to what God is saying today? Sometimes, people, your situation is placed in a trap. It appears to be a trap. Not because anything can stop what God has said. Not because what the Lord has said in the spirit is already in divine existence. It's in this place to strengthen your belief. It's in this place so that you can practice pushing against any force that comes to push against your vision. Am I saying anything today? No, I'm telling you. This thing is raw. It's raw today. It's raw today. And so I began to look at this, and he said, let me take you to the scripture, because we were talking about yesterday. We was talking about how God chooses you. And so I went to the scripture, and it was in the book of, right around the book of Numbers, several scriptures in the book of Numbers that I want you to look at. And he said to him, this was Samuel talking to Saul. And we all know that Saul wasn't, he wasn't no, well, I'm going to put it this way. He wasn't no Christian. He wasn't nobody that lived by the principles, by the perfected principles, let me say it that way. By the perfected principles of the laws of God in that day. In that day. He wasn't that person. He wasn't that person. And so the Lord made a decision about him. And this is what I want you to see. I want you to see this. The Lord made a decision about Saul. Oh God. Oh God. I got to show you this. In 1 Samuel 10. Whew, my God. 1 Samuel 10. Y'all got to see this today. 1 Samuel 10, 1 through 8. Here it is. It says, then Samuel took the flask of oil and poured it on Saul's head, kissed him, and said, has the Lord not anointed you as a ruler over his inheritance, Israel? Has the Lord not anointed you? That's the reason why you're on this page. You are not a straggler. You are not a person that just so happened to just bump into this page and just, oops, I ended up here. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. The scripture said, has the Lord not anointed you? Has God not made it so that you are in a position where what you are about to accomplish, and I want you to hear the way I'm talking, what you are about to accomplish, he has anointed you to accomplish that, and you're going to accomplish that. And you are going to accomplish that. He said here, when you leave me today, and the only way that I can help you to understand this is prophecy. Today is prophecy. It's not, well, Dr. Bynum, that sounds real good. No, he's prophesying to you. When you leave this particular broadcast today, when you leave it today, he said, when you leave me today, you will meet two men besides Rachel's tomb in the territory of Benjamin and Zelzah. They will say to you, the donkeys you went to look for have been found, and your father has stopped caring about them and is worried about you, saying, what shall I do about my son? Then you will go on further from there, and you will come to the terebinth tree of Tabor, and three men going up to sacrifice to God at Bethel will meet you there, one carrying 3 young goats, another carrying 3 loaves of bread, another carrying a jug of wine. In other words, when you leave this page today, divine provision is going to start, and divine connections are going to start when you leave this page today. Because what he kept saying to me is that we connected to the wrong people. It's like you don't understand that associations at the time of conception of a vision and at the time that God is about to give birth to a vision is crucial. It's crucial because whoever you are around at the time this thing is being conceived and this thing is being molded in your spirit is very, very crucial, because they can cause that thing to not only be aborted, but they can cause a delay in it.